Welcome to Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. I'm Tom Burton, proud superintendent of Princeton City Schools. We are beyond excited right now to welcome two unbelievable people, the new principal of Glendale Elementary School, Mr. Tim Walker.
Good morning, sir.
The second most important person here today, Marielle Smith, co-host, student co-host. Welcome. How do you feel today?
I'm feeling pretty easy kill. I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay, now Marielle, being a senior last year, how do you feel about that?
I am super excited to be a senior. It is so much fun. I'm enjoying it.
Hey, before we get to Mr. Walker, who again, we're so excited about him being here too, you're wearing a shirt that says difference maker. What does that mean to you?
A difference maker to me is a person who can walk into a room and change the minds of everyone in it. I believe that a difference maker does great things and not only encourages others, but also encourages themselves to do better every single day.
Now, I know we've talked quite a bit. We've talked about the teachers in your life, the staff in your life, your coaches, all that stuff. A lot of difference makers in Princeton.
Yes.
Yes, that's great. A huge difference maker. Mr. Walker, so welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
How do you feel today?
I feel awesome. I was a little nervous at first, but hey, I'm like, you know what? It's all right. We're going to make this work.
We are going to make this work. So, Mr. Walker, talk a little bit about your educational journey.
So my educational journey started at the University of Cincinnati. And when I graduated from school, I got my degree in social work, and I didn't go the traditional path that normal people go in education. So I wasn't a teacher, but I started in the school as a social worker. And I continued to develop relationships and understand how the school operates, and different principals took me under their wings and so helped me in my leadership. And then I went back and got my master's in education, and I continued on, and then I was given the opportunity to be a principal, and I have been with Princeton for 4 years, and I love what I do.
So it's assistant principal for a little bit.
Yes.
And then principal, but let's go way, 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 way back to college.
Yes, sir.
Because you're not old. I am. I'm the old one here. So you did a few things at University of Cincinnati. Obviously, getting your social work degree shows that love and passion, not only working with students, but also with our great parents, community members, and so forth. So I love the path you took.
Yeah.
But what else did you do at University of Cincinnati?
I also played college football.
Yeah, and you had some success there.
I sure did.
Now let me ask you this question, put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
If your team would play the current Cincinnati Bearcat team, would it be close at all?
No.
No.
I think the team today is much, much more gifted and talented than what we were. We got the plan started for them by going to the first bowl in 47 years. So,
okay.
But it is a much better team today, I would say.
All right, I did not realize that. So you guys actually set the table, so to
sure
speak.
did. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So let's go in. So let's talk about being an elementary school principal. What's the best part of your day?
Oh, man, I would say the best part of my day is working with the students and the staff every day. I love it. I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. I'm able to inspire our kids and our staff. And the one thing that I'm doing right now is really creating that environment that is positive for our kids and for our staff, and help them to know that I believe in both of them so that they can do their jobs and so students can learn at a high level.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some programming. The leader in me.
Yes.
When you talk about the leader in me, you're the leader,
Yes.
right? So not only they're a leader in you as the principal, but talk about what that means for students and what that program's all about.
Oh man, so Leader in Me is a program that is inspiring kids to teach them how to be leaders themselves. It not only teaches them how to believe in themselves, but it's giving them the tools to be leaders. So, for example, right? So the first step is believing in who you are. And so we're doing that by teaching them the 7 principles. And so those principles are being taught to our students each day. And so it's teaching them how to not just understand it, but how to apply it in their everyday life.
That's awesome. And actually, I think if you walk up to the library, you can't help but miss those 7 principles, those 7 habits, right? You walk up a step, you see a different habit, right? Marielle, you went to a great elementary school.
I sure did.
And what was that?
Glendale Elementary.
Glendale Elementary School. Mr. Walker, can't you feel the passion?
Yes, sure can.
Talk a little bit about your experience, but then let's put Mr. Walker on the hot seat. Ask him a question or two.
I went to Glendale Elementary all my years in elementary school from 1 through 5. And basically, I really enjoyed their music program and their arts program because I was always into that stuff. Personally, I loved the school. But Mr. Walker, how do you encourage your students to use student voice within their school?
Ooh, that's an amazing question. But the way we are giving students the opportunity right now to have student voice is we do Let's Talk sessions. So we just had one this past week where central office staff or leaders came over and met with kids in grades 3, 4, and 5 and giving them the opportunity to share what they love about school, what is some changes they would like to see happen, not just at Glendale, but even in our district. And then also student council. Student council has given them the opportunity to be able to share and do things in the building that they want to see happen. So those are some ways that I can think of right off the top of my head that we are giving students their voice.
That is wonderful.
So as Maria was talking about her experience, one of the things that always strikes me when I'm there is I never see you in your office.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm visible. I'm visible. I want to be visible so that our students can see me and they know that I care and that I'm doing everything to make sure that they have the best opportunity to be successful. And so I'm in and out of the classrooms. Teachers are seeing me. I can't just sit at my desk. If I'm sitting at my desk, then I'm not doing my job well. And so by being visible, teachers know that they can stop and ask me questions if there's a need right away, or I can be available to assist students if they have questions or if there's a need. I'm also checking to make sure the building is safe and making sure everyone is safe in our building so that they know Mr. Walker's around, we know we safe.
Yeah, and we always talk all the time about safety first, and obviously that's absolutely critical. But when you think about safety, it's not just about the physical structure and making sure the kids there's also emotional safety. Yep. Talk a little bit about mental health and the importance, not only just at Glendale, but across the district.
Yeah, mental health has been a big problem in our country today. And so we want to make sure that students have everything that they need. And so that means emotionally, mentally, and physically. And so we want to provide our counselors the opportunity to be available, and we're offering different courses in our building where the teachers come in or our counselors come in and lead our students in different ways of how to deal with your emotions, how to be able to talk about what you're experiencing. And so we're giving those students those opportunities so that they know that they matter. And that's the biggest thing. And it's not just for our students, even our staff. We provide opportunities for our staff too. And so they know that they are cared for.
Marielle, you have a final wrap-up question for Mr. Walker? Last chance to put him on the spot.
What is your favorite thing to do as a principal?
My favorite thing to do as a principal? I think my favorite thing to do as a principal is at the end of the day, I started this thing last year where at the end of the day we do attendance and we talk about which classes have perfect attendance, right? And so at the end of the day, the classes are waiting for me to talk about who has perfect attendance. And I get so excited because when I announce them, you hear kids hollering and excitement. And then not only that, then when I say at the end of the day to close our message, I say, and as always, go Vikes. And you hear the kids hollering. That to me is so exciting for me because I see the impact that it's having on our kids.
Right, so culture matters. I love the fact that we talked about a lot of different things, being in and out of classrooms, not being visible. There's so many principles in general, LE, about being a leader, right? That's really critical. And visibility is one, showing the engagement is another, the accessibility to you as a leader. You've done a great job early on in your career. We're so happy that you're at Princeton and chose Princeton. Like many great leaders, Mr. Walker had opportunities to lead before. He chose Princeton for a variety of reasons. He knows he makes that hashtag Viking diff every day, and he's certainly a difference maker. Marielle, wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
I know you didn't have him as a principal, but this is the type of principals that we want in the district. So thanks a lot for being a leader. Thanks for helping kids develop that leader in themselves.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with you. Viking Voices, the people of Princeton.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. That's going to be a ball game.
Princeton takes the match. Shot, goal! Brings a tackle at the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Vikings!
Welcome back to Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. Second segment, again, equally excited to talk to proud alum, actually the architect of Princeton through the decades that we're going to get back to in a second. But before we talk about the people in front of the camera, let's talk about Freddie and Taylor, our interns who are actually running the cameras. This is one of the things we try to do at Princeton all the way throughout this district. Create opportunities for kids to learn and grow real world experiences. So Taylor, Freddie, the first experiences really behind the camera. We're so excited to create these opportunities. Now, Anna Johnson, proud graduate of Princeton City Schools, Princeton High School. Let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. When you were in school, you actually had this, some thoughts about Princeton TV.
When I was in school, we had a TV station at the school. PITV is what they called it, and it was an opportunity for kids to get this experience. So it's great that you brought the interns. That's terrific.
Yeah, so we have an opportunity to do this. We're looking to create more and more and more. Marielle, you know, our great co-host. Marielle, I'm going to start with you. Did you have an opportunity to see Princeton through the decades?
I actually didn't. My mom went to Winton Woods, but I did. My dad went to Princeton, so there was a little bit of seeing and asking questions to him about just what it was like before I came.
Yeah, so there's lots of these questions all the time. You didn't even know what you just did right there. It was so great how we're going to use what you said. We don't always connect with the past. That's one of our problems. Anna Johnson, again, proud graduate of Princeton City Schools, Princeton High School. Talk a little bit about this concept of Princeton through the decades.
Well, it was your idea. You gave it to me, and then I had to run with it. And Beth Ecker, who is our archivist, who runs the museum, has tons of things from Princeton through the decades. And we were able to create this display. And it started out just as boards with pictures just to talk about it, and it was a homecoming theme, so lots of band, lots of homecoming people through the years, but we broke down every 10-year span and were able to display it. We were able to find staff members that were alumni and make sure we represented them. We did all kinds of Odin's Word, which still is being produced today. We had programs from the football games back in the day, which we don't do anymore. I discovered, I didn't realize that. And then we were able to find uniforms, band and a baseball uniform through the years, and some of the trophies that Princeton has won through the years.
So it was displayed during homecoming, Friday night, and then also Saturday. But just as a quick little public service announcement, let me let everybody know that we're going to have a great Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame coming up November 5th, which quite frankly, maybe after this airing, she may say, geez, I missed homecoming, I missed the Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. I'm never going to be able to see Princeton through the decades. That's not true. We're actually going to display that periodically throughout the course of the year. When that's going to happen will be at big events. So we have Festival of the Arts, which will be in March. It'll be displayed there. It'll be displayed many times at concerts, at different athletic events where we know we're going to see a lot of people through our great Viking village. So it will be displayed. Hey, Anna, talk about the best moment. You shared a picture with me and you're like, This is the best moment. What was it?
So after Friday night's football game, I had gone back over just because I know the band kids came through and I wanted to make sure we cleaned up before Saturday. And I am in there and there are half a dozen kids around each of the tables looking at the display. And it was just, it made it all worth it. I was there till like almost 11 o'clock that night because the kids were so busy watching. One of the kids brought his grandmother, who was a Princeton alum. His mother was a Princeton alum, and they literally went through every single table just looking at all the memorabilia. And it made it all worth it. It was a labor of love anyway, but it was worth it.
You know, what really struck me is when you, the picture that you sent, actually, I think that was the 50s decade, where the kids were around it. So a lot of times you may think like kids are really, they may know somebody, wherever the case is. This is why it's so important to appreciate, recognize the past, right? The present's obviously critical. Yes. There's no question about that. But where we're going also matters. So where would you like to see this, Princeton through the decades? What are you thinking about? How do you want to grow it?
Well, because it was specifically done for homecoming, I feel like we focused on football and the band and the homecoming court. I would love to get in there and add some pictures from some other events, other kind of things that happened. I had a really cool picture from the before TV. We had a radio station, and I would love to add some pictures to the display. So I'm already thinking about. And then we did 2020, and I grabbed as many pictures as I could and I think we'll be adding to it forever.
Yeah,
so.
It's going to be something, again, that's going to be out and about. Trisha Roddy, our amazing director of communication, put together all kinds of great social media posts. So please make sure, if you don't follow us, that you do. On all of our social media sites, you'll be able to see a variety of great pictures and so forth. But let me tell you, Marielle, one of your classmates, one of our great cheerleaders, like almost was yelling at me, but it was positive. She's like, Mr. Burton, Mr. Burton. I'm like, what? They're like, we love this uniform. Do you remember which uniform I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So what year was that from?
That was from the 1959, 1960s.
Retro, bringing it back in style. 1950.
The little sweater, it had their names on it. Yes. It was cute.
It was so cute. Marielle, when you think about the history of Princeton, like you're getting ready to graduate, when you think about how far the district has come and all of that, what's a question you want to ask somebody who may have graduated or did a couple years before you did? What's something about the past that you want to know about that maybe Miss Johnson, Anna Johnson, would be able to answer?
What inspired you, as far as what molds you to be the person that you are today, coming from Princeton?
Oh, that's an easy one for me. The diversity has just, it makes you be able to work with, speak with, understand everybody. I mean, you're exposed to everything under the sun at Princeton, and it's just, that's what made me who I am today. I took a very different path. I have a brother I'm an 88 graduate. I have a brother that's a 92 graduate. We took very different paths at Princeton, but that's the one thing we both came out of Princeton with, is the ability to work with, talk to all shape, size, every kind of person. So.
Yeah, and in our opinion, you're way more famous than your brother. No. But your brother is a CEO, doing great things, played college football and all that. Mom and dad are wonderful people, great family. But let's talk about the best of all Johnsons in a second. And her name is?
Emily.
And she's a current student at Princeton?
She's a 2024.
She sure is.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about, from a parent perspective, why Princeton matters and your experiences.
Well, Emily is adopted from Guatemala. So one of the things that I love is that she sees herself, I mean, there are other people at Princeton that look like her. And she has been able to do music, sports, academically. She's an honors AP, IB. I mean, she gets the whole gamut that Princeton offers. And I so appreciate that.
So we really try to create these equitable opportunities for all students, for each student, we say, right? All as a group, each as individual. And just in case you may have missed this, on our state report card, there's a lot of different variables that I don't like at all. I don't think they're fair. I don't think they're equitable. They're systemic issues all the way throughout. But there are two gauges, I think, that are really, truly relevant. One is called gap closing, and that's to ensure all the subgroups that there's not this major gap, essentially. The other one is what's called value added. And as a resident, and I know there's several residents that watch this, and you know I'm talking to you, who you know. But the reality is, when you look at value added, isn't that what we want to do? We want to add value to the educational experience of each student. So this year, I don't know if you guys know this, so let me announce it to you guys. There's 611 school districts in the state of Ohio. We are number 11 when it came to value-added growth. How about that? Number 11. That is something that we're very, very proud of. We have amazing teachers and staff, all that do such a great job. Administration, they work all the time. I mean, it's just amazing, the team that we have at Princeton. So back in 1988, Anna Johnson, young Anna Johnson, graduates from Princeton High School. Favorite teacher, go.
Mrs. Moots.
Why?
She cared. She really cared. And she was at Glendale for several years. She became Mrs. Rudolph. And she just brought her whole self to school every day. And you knew she was there for you. And I'm Facebook friends with her now. So.
That's awesome. So you see, it's really simple. Each and every day, it's important we empower each student for college, career, and life success. It happened long before I got to this district 8 years ago. It happened long before Mario Smith got here. And it actually happened long before Anna Johnson got here. So Princeton through the decades, please make sure you check that out. The next time it's going to be available that everybody here will be able to see it will be during our concert season, which will be in December. Again, check us out. If you don't follow social media, but you know the internet, check us out at www.princetonschools.net. Anna, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be right back with you, people of Princeton. Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. Don't sleep on us.
On air or online. This is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
Welcome back to Viking Voices, the people of Princeton. Hey, our first two segments had an amazing administrator, principal, Mr. Tim Walker, does great work. A proud alum who's been the architect of Princeton through the decades, Anna Johnson. They're amazing. But if we're going to be honest, the very, very best segment is getting ready to come up right now, because we have two amazing seniors, actually three are co-hosts who you met earlier. But Marielle, who's here today?
We have the amazing Ariel Stevens and the amazing Leah Bracknell.
So two amazing students. And Marielle, you have a question to ask them?
I sure do. So what do you guys do in Princeton?
Well, one of the things I do is I'm the class president and of my senior class, and I'm also one of the drum majors.
And what about you, Leah?
As well as being a drum major, I also do lots of music, jazz, choir, band, and I'm also in Key Club and various other things as well. So
I've heard you sing a little bit, and a lot actually. So why would I have heard you sing so much on top of the concerts?
I'm the national anthem soloist, and I also do theater at Princeton.
So what does that mean to be the soloist? Obviously, I think people know solo, but what does that mean to kind of be anointed, if you will, to do that at Princeton?
It's an honor, because just to go out in the community and sing the national anthem to lots of different people and to represent Princeton is a good thing to do. So.
All right, so not to put you on the spot, but go ahead. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm kidding. All right, listen, class president.
Yes.
What does that mean to be the class president at Princeton?
Well, it honestly just makes me feel like there's a huge community within my grade. And that means I get to represent my class and be able to plan different things and fundraise so our class could do more activities. And it's really empowering, just not for me, but other members of my class, because they're able to participate together and we're all able to, join in and just enjoy ourselves, especially because it's our senior year.
Yeah, and you just had a big event last night.
Yes, we had our senior bonfire, and it was honestly amazing. A lot of people dressed up in their costumes. We got to play games, just have an amazing community event. And it was honestly so heartwarming to see everybody smile, everybody be so engaged with each other. It was just so successful, and I'm really happy that we had the opportunity to do it.
That's great. You know, one of the things that you said without saying is about being part of a team.
Yes.
I love the fact that I asked you specifically about your leadership and you made it about other people. I love that. Leah, what does it mean to be part of a team? And do you play any sports right now?
Yes, I just finished my tennis season, so that was a lot of fun, and just helping out the team and for just to do things as a group is something really nice to be a part of. So that was a lot of fun and just great to be part of a team.
Yeah, and you play doubles, right? A lot of times when people think about tennis, they think about it as an individual sport. Now, obviously, you play doubles, you have a teammate.
Yes.
I think sometimes when people think about music, they think about that as, well, I do my individual part. But talk about the importance of being part of a team in music.
Well, definitely, music is a team because when you're in a band or in a choir or an orchestra, you are all working together as one. You're not doing something individual, especially with marching band, because the drum majors work as a team to lead the marching band to be a team to support the football team. So it's a lot of team work in marching band just to put on a great show and entertain everybody.
And your record right now, there's been 10 football games. Your record is 10-0. As marching band, you guys are amazing. You haven't lost anything at all. But you guys have sound so great. I may get a little bit of flack on this, and that's okay. I think you guys know me well enough to know I'm not afraid to share my opinion. So there's a band camp that happens during the summer.
Yes.
And at the end of band camp, you guys come together and you play. The first time we heard the halftime show, it's a good thing that wasn't the last time we heard the halftime show, right? But that's life, right? That's what happens as you're learning new routines or whatever. Talk about how much you guys have grown from that moment when it was like, whoo, we have a little bit of growth to where you guys now, which is amazing. Talk about that.
Well, I really think how much effort and how much time that we put into not just our music, but feeling comfortable with each other really has improved our sound overall as a band. When it comes to band, we want to sound united and we want to have unity. And that means we have to be not only confident in how we play, but confident in being able to know that if somebody's in the right place, that means I'm in the right place. So we have to have confidence within each other and kind of have an independent dependency, which I really appreciate. And even down to us drum majors, like we had to be able to, keep on building, see the growth that we had to make, and be more confident in our skills. And I really feel like that has made us better conductors, and that has made the band better at their instruments and made this halftime show absolutely amazing.
So amazing right
yes.
now. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about there's one other drum major.
Yes.
And Leah, talk a little bit about her and the great work she does. But then also I want you to segue directly into this other big performance we had in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So our other drum major is Mallory Green, and she's a junior, and so we love working with Mallory. She's great. And I think it's great to have someone younger than us, too, as a drum major. She can kind of carry on that drum major tradition that we each carry down each year. And so a couple weeks ago, my goodness, sorry. A couple weeks ago, we performed at the Blink Parade and got to perform in front of thousands of people, live and on TV. And it was a really cool experience just to walk downtown Cincinnati and see all the lights and see everybody cheering for us and honking for us at the end. And it was just really cool to see that support and have so much fun with each other. So.
Yeah, and for 3 years, Blink Parade has been around. Do you know how many times Princeton's been involved?
Ooh.
Out of 3, every single time.
Wow.
Do you know how many other bands can boast that? None. Yeah, we're so proud of the music. There's no question. Mario, I know you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh my goodness, you're involved in so many activities. Let's put him on the hot spot right now. Give him a tough question.
So, as far as being a part of a team, how do you encourage your students when they feel like maybe they're doing bad or maybe they don't feel as confident? How do you encourage them as a leader?
I encourage them to just be free and don't be scared of doing anything, because you might feel nerves, you might feel like you're doing something wrong, but just ask for advice to anybody around you, any older students, and just be confident in yourself.
You may be thinking right now, I got off easy. Didn't even have to answer that question. Mario, another question?
Ariel, you are the student class president,
Yes.
and there was a conversation about diversity, especially when you came on board. How do you encourage students to be diverse and meet new people and just encourage students to be inclusive all around?
The way that I do that is honestly to encourage students to not have a closed mind, even if it's not just physical diversity, but in a mental diversity when it comes to a different mindset or different ideas, that's okay. And so many students want to put themselves in a box, but we have to go beyond that box so we have more new ideas, more diverse ideas, because with diversity, there is great success. And as you can see from our class, from our school, diversity honestly brings so much joy and diversity brings so much progress. And I really think our class has been doing an excellent job when it comes to progress and breaking boundaries.
Yeah, listen, what great questions. I just wanted to kind of, I guess, highlight a little bit more about this Blink Parade. I know you said thousands. You probably been really, really nervous to know that, there literally were hundreds of thousands of people lining the streets. Well over 1 million when you look at who was watching. There were people that tried to get down to Cincinnati to see you all and couldn't even get down because of road closures, parking, and all that stuff. We were the last band. Talk a little bit about what happened after the parade sort of was over. What happened?
Honestly, it was so amazing because it was just like that realization, like we did that. Like we honestly just got up there, performed, executed all of our hard work, and so many people were able to see our band, and we brought so many smiles and joy. So it felt surreal after, and I just remember seeing everybody elated, everybody just like on top of the air, just going crazy. Like it was honestly an amazing experience, and I feel like because of this experience, our band ended up having even more confidence when it came to our playing ability, because that's such a huge, big accomplishment, and everybody executed it so beautifully.
The reason why I said sort of over, because when the parade was over, it wasn't over.
Yes.
So, Leah, talk a little bit about why would I say that?
So after the parade, after we marched in the parade, we performed in the finale with lots of other dance groups, circus groups, choirs, and a soloist saying "This Is Me" from The Greatest Showman while we played that song. And that was really cool to get to perform with other groups from around Cincinnati. And their fireworks went off, and it felt like a party, honestly. Afterwards, we were like dancing and just having a ball.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to ask you guys to sing "This Is Me," right? Or play "This Is Me." But I want you to think about some of the lyrics, because I know you guys know the lyrics. And I want you to think specifically about what you just talked about, the value of diversity, the value of equity, and all of stuff. So, Leah, because I know you know that song so intimately, what's a lyric that stands out to you in "This Is Me"?
Probably the lyric, "I am braved, I am bruised, this is who I'm meant to be, this is me."
Yep. And so, but what does that actually mean to you?
It means that like everybody is different in different ways. We're all just different, and that's a good thing because we are our own selves, and it's okay if you're not the same as someone else. It's okay if you're not perfect, because we are bruised, but we're still brave. So we're who we are meant to be, just like they say in the song.
Exactly. So When you think about this whole concept about being bruised in general, like we talked earlier in the very first episode, or the first segment about mental health and the importance of that. And when I think about sometimes about being bruised, I think about falling, right? Have you ever fallen?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, right? So that can happen. Marielle, you ever fall?
Yes,
okay.
I have.
So when you fall, sometimes we get bruised. Now, we talk about this like when we fail, right? We want to fail, but we want to fail forward. We want to learn from those mistakes. The bruises sometimes make us stronger, but we sometimes still feel that even if the bruise goes away. So talk about the importance of support in general, and how do you feel empowered at Princeton? So support at Princeton, and then and family and so forth, but then how do you also feel empowered?
At Princeton, a lot of the support that I really appreciate and that has put me in the place I am right now is the encouragement of my student voice. And that is very important, because if I didn't have that voice, I wouldn't have that confidence to stand up for something that I think is right, or to end up taking the chance or auditioning from drum major, or taking the chance or running for a class officer. Because without that support from Princeton and from my teachers and my peers, I don't think I would be here where I am now. Because having somebody tell you that you can, even when you have bruises, a lot of people see those bruises, or you might see those bruises as a ruining, as something that shows that you failed, but instead it's just a lesson to continue to motivate you and to build up. So to have somebody tell you that when sometimes all you can only see is the pain, it's really encouraging. And that's something that happens at Princeton that has really helped me.
Thank you. Leah?
Yeah, I feel empowered about the same way, just the encouragement of everybody and the teachers, not just the student voice, but also the teachers, because they encourage us to be who we want to be and do what we want to do, like in college and afterwards. And it's just, I feel empowered because Princeton gives those opportunities to do whatever you want.
High-level classes, you're both in high-level classes. When I ask this question, a lot of times people say, I'm an IB, I'm an AP, I do CCP, and the people out there watching, they're like, what are all those acronyms, right? So we know you're in a variety of subjects like International Baccalaureate, Advanced Placement, or Take Advantage of College Credit Plus. I did want to say this about student voice, because we've talked a little bit about this here. For all those people watching, very soon our beautiful co-host, Marielle Smith, will be videotaping a performance poetry performance of a poem about student voice, and talk a little bit about where you actually just did that.
I did it at the Ohio Department of Education at their Academic Excellence event, and it was just incredible to talk to teachers and really just express how I felt as a student. When there really wasn't any students there at all, I got the honor to go and really share my thoughts.
Yeah, and so we know that student voice is critical. Sometimes people, like as adults, we talked earlier off air about how important the past is. And sometimes when, as an old guy, I look back, and sometimes I may think the past is just for me because I lived it or whatever, but it's important for people to understand the past so we can learn and grow and get better. I think also sometimes when we think about student voice, people like me, old, may think and say, well, when I was a kid, it wasn't about student voice. We just listened to adults, and if you listen to adults, you're going to be successful. But I think we've learned a lot over the decades, especially since the 40 years ago I graduated this spring. I think we've learned a lot as a people, and we're better because of it. Marielle, one last question. You have one last question for him?
I'm a strong believer in pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So how did you go through those moments where people may have told you no or may have said no, and it felt like it was over? How did you get through those moments and really persevere?
And can I add something real quick? I'm sorry, I asked the question, I'm going to jump. So not only if somebody else said no, but maybe even more important, if you all said no. Is that okay? Can I do that? Okay.
Either one.
Okay.
That's a tough question.
For me, something that really helped me persevere when it came to that, and how I chose to, acknowledge the pain instead of suffer, was to honestly meditate and self-reflect on myself. And what I mean by that is for me to be able to see how this affected me, honestly understand my mental health and get help with my mental health. And even that is, for me, it's prayer, even if it's whatever it is for you. Always acknowledging your mental health will really help and could get you out of something so you don't have to suffer, but instead just acknowledge the pain. Because if you don't acknowledge the pain, you can't have the healing and you can't have the growth. And that's something that I do to kind of help myself and recover. And once I do acknowledge the pain and I'm able to have the healing, I take what happened to me and I learn my lesson, or I learn how to improve it or to go beyond it and try to reach another goal, something, even if it's rejection, that I know I could look forward to.
You know, you reminded me of a song. Actually, again, we talked so much about music. There's a song, Everybody Hurts. And everybody hurts sometimes. And that's something that we should be okay talking about it. And I love the fact that you just talk so openly about it, and the fact of how it's not only about like recognizing it, but how are we going to cope. You also talked earlier about the support of other people, of teachers, staff, administration, peers, all that stuff. It's important that we always are able to express how we feel. Leah?
Going off of Mario's question, if I ever get rejection or if someone says no, that I can't do something, I honestly talk to people around me for support. My friends, co-workers, parents, family, and they can support me with what I want to do and how to recover from rejection of any sort. And I think that's something that really helps with that.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now. I know we never do that. Oh, just kidding. We do that every once in a while. Okay. So you've had some tryouts at some colleges.
Yeah, well,
so
soon.
Talk a little bit about that. What's going to happen? You had some big tryouts. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean?
So I'm planning to go to college for music education, and auditions are in January, but I visited 3 colleges and gotten to see their facilities and talk to some professors about their music program, and even played for some of them and had some sample lessons and sample auditions. And it was really cool just to see how they can help me grow musically, and how that college could help me become a better musician.
Look, all 3 of you are amazing. I'm not going to talk about co-hosts, though. I'm going to talk about you 2. You guys are amazing, right? But I think we've come to a really, really big moment here. And the reason why I say that is because of a little conversation that I had, not only with you, Leah, but also Mom and Dad, about when you played in front of somebody. Like, you're amazing, right? But when you played in front of somebody at a different level, they had some advice, right? You could have easily looked at that advice and said, oh my goodness, I'm never going to get in now, or whatever. But that's where I think there's so much value in what you're talking about, right? It's talking to other people. It's processing the information. It's not trying to do everything yourself, right? It may be about meditation, or it may be about self-reflection. But ultimately, we always have to express how we feel and reach out and talk to somebody. What are your plans next year?
Next year, so I'm definitely going to college. I know that for sure. Right now, I'm still doing the whole, common application process, figuring out where I want to go, looking at the, different colleges and what I can. I do want to major in public policy or political science, and I'm honestly really excited to see where that takes me. I want to do band in college, and I just hope it all goes well.
That's awesome. And we heard about music, right? Can you announce the 3 different colleges you're talking about, or you want to wait till signing day?
I can announce the 3 colleges I'm auditioning to.
Okay.
I'm going to audition to Miami University, Ohio State University, and UC with their CCM program.
So if there's any professors that are watching right now, please make sure you know these names, okay? Hey, the very best part of who we are as a district right in front of us right now. We can't do anything without students. And We so appreciate you guys taking time out. I know you have to get back to class, so we're going to do that. Hey, thanks for joining us, Viking Voice of the People of Princeton. This has been such a great episode. 3 amazing segments. Again, an amazing new principal in our district, a former student, an alum who actually is an architect for Princeton through the decades, and of course, 2 amazing students here in front of us right now, and our incredible student co-host, Marielle Smith. Thanks for joining us. And of course, as always, go Vikes.